everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs. I apologize for not having a video yesterday. I started to do one and I just wasn't feeling well. I had a show the day before. We were up at 5:30 and you get home around 7 or so, and it was just too much for me. I needed to just lay down and not feel well for a little while. But I'm back today, and my project is a box that a treat box that I made out of DSP scraps that I had. The largest piece is 7 by 4 3/4, and then all the rest are just little scraps that I cut up, and some little bits of cardstock in there. Alrighty, so it measures 2.5 by 4 by 3/4, and inside here I have 2 fun size. Now this will fit probably 4 of these standing like this, but I put them next to each other, so it'll fit anything up to 4 inches high. All right, probably 3.5 because you have to be able to squeeze the top, but you can get lots of little fun size goodies in here. You could probably get a square one of those Reese's peanut butter cups in there also. Alrighty, so what we need for this project, I'm using the Pick of the Patch bundle, and also I'm using the Deckled Circles and the Stylish Shapes dies, but if you have your own circles, you can use those. And also I'm using the Banners Pick-a-Punch for these 2 banners here, but you can cut these by hand. You don't have to use this with that if you don't want it. This makes it much easier and quicker, but you can do that by hand because I know I'm using quite a bit of different things. So if you don't have it all, some of it you can improvise. This is my host code. Please put that in for any purchases under $150, not including your shipping and tax. All right, except for the circles, everything is Them Bones Designer Series paper and basic white for stamping. So we need this large piece for the body of the box that is 7 by 4 3/4. And then we need 2 5/8 inch wide strips. The banners are only about this high, but in order to get them in here like this, it's much easier to have a long strip. All right, so they're 5/8 inches wide, and these are 2 different patterns from Them Bones. For the top here, I used a circle from Stylish Shapes dies that is 2.5 inches, and we're going to score that also. Okay, and then this circle here is the inner circle that is 1 5/8 from Granny Apple Green, Stylish Shapes dies also, and then this gorgeous grape is 1 3/4, and it's the Deckled Circle dies. All right, so let's get my Simply scored. Let's start with the large piece first, and we're going to score on the 7-inch side first. We'll score at 3/4, then 3 1/4, 4, and 6 1/2. Turn it to the 4 3/4 inch side and score at 3/4, and that's it for that piece. Then for our lid, I'm going to put it so that the lines go straight, so you want the lines going this way. All right, and it's 2.5 inches. We're going to score at 1 1/4. Okay, and then you can fold and burnish your score lines. Okay, we don't cut it all on the circle, so that's done. All right, so we have the skinniest rectangle over here and 3/4 inch strips on the bottom and right here. Okay, and this is what we're going to be doing. Not very difficult. All right, so we're going to start over here, and we're going to go to the first score line and cut it to the first score line and wedge both sides of that square. Okay, then we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, and the next score line. Cut it to the first score line and wedge both sides of the square again. And then we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, wedge up into the skinny rectangle, then follow it up and take a little wedge off the top of the skinny rectangle at the top. And that's it. That's what your cardstock, your DSP actually this time, should look like when you're done scoring and cutting. Okay, now what we need is some tear and tape, and I'm going to put it next to the score line on what's left of the skinny rectangle. Take your pick tool and take the backing off. And then you're going to flip over the whole thing, flip over the side with the tape, and then the other side to meet it. And this part here with the seam is your back. Just put a tiny dab of glue on those tabs and pull the back down, and then put some glue here and push the front forward and make sure that all your sides are staying nice and straight. And then just take your pick tool and push down those tabs in there so they go down nicely. And that's it for the bottom. Okay, now I'm gonna put them in one on top of the other just to fill up my box while I squeeze just the top. Okay, and then it'll stop wherever it wants to. All right. You could do it without, but it may go all the way to the bottom. All right, and then we want to take one of our sides and put glue just below the score line all the way down of the circle, one of our sides of the circle, and we're going to match it up to the back, the part with the seam on it of our box, kind of make it even with both sides, and just let that dry a minute. Just get off any bits of glue that come through, because you don't want to make it glue shut. Okay, and then pull it forward, and that's the top of your box. And then I have a 1/8 inch hole punch. You can put whatever size hole, and I'm going to go down about 1/2 inch and put 2 holes through the entire thing. Okay. All right, let's let that dry up a minute. We can put our little things in. Put in this one. All right. Now we need our piece of basic white. We might need a little bit more than this. All right, we're going to use pumpkin pie, old olive, crushed curry, and granny apple green. So first let's do the pumpkin. And I'm doing the largest pumpkin. Great. And also we're using Tuxedo Black Ink for the face. Great. Okay, and then let's use the pick of the patch punch to punch out that pumpkin. All right, and now we're going to do, well, over here, let's do our stem with old olive ink. You could use granny apple green for this too, but I wanted it to kind of stand out. All right, so let's get that punched. Okay, and now we can do all of our little leaves. Okay, so we're going to do one leaf with pumpkin pie. And then I'm just going to get a baby white, or you can use your chamois. I threw out my chamois when I changed my craft room, not realizing I never used it. And I thought it was a piece of craft foam. So I threw it out, and now I don't have a chamois. Okay, so I cleaned that off. And let's cut this in a strip so we don't have to worry about cutting it. And I'll cut out that leaf. Okay, and then with crushed curry we're going to do 2. Just make sure that your stamp is dry now. I'm going to do 2 crushed curry leaves. Cut those out within a strip. I don't know if I left myself enough room for this. Let's see. Yeah, at least the first one. 1. I might need one of these. 2. Okay. And then we need 2 granny apple green leaves. Okay. This is just a sticky note to make it longer so I can reach. Still use my little scraps. There we go. Okay. So we have 5 leaves, a stem, and a pumpkin. Okay, now we need the rest of our things. Okay, so we're going to take our gorgeous grape deckled circle, that is 1 3/4, and our granny apple green stylish shape die circle, that is 1 5/8, and we're going to attach them together. Okay, now let's do our little strips. Now you can just make your own by going to the middle, cutting up about 1/4 inch, and then from each side to the middle you can get your flags. But I'm going to put them in this way, and I'm just gonna, I flip it over because it's easier for me. And that's 1 flag. I just put the top part right in the middle, and there's 2 flags. And this is the Banner's Pick a Punch. Alright. Alright, and I'm going to cut them, I'd say 1.5 inches. We might have to cut them a little bit smaller, but that's good enough for now. And I'm going to start with my bat one, and we want to start as far over to the right side of the circle as we can, just like that. Alrighty, and it's going to stick out at the bottom about 1/4 inch on the side. Alright, and then we'll just glue that right to that. So just don't glue what you think is going to be showing. So we want it to be almost at the edge and down about 1/4 inch over here. Add a little more. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to attach this about the same amount down, and the point just about where this point is. Just like that. Okay, and then we'll just glue that. Just going to put a little bit of glue, bend it up, and put a little glue. Okay, there we go. All right, now let's close this. I'm going to take out my little goodies. Put your goodies in. And then we're going to take a, that's not the new one, I need a new one. Some black and white gingham ribbon. And we're going to feed it from the front to the back and then the back to the front. And then it's much easier when it's filled because it's going to be puffed up. Just tie a knot and then tie a bow. Okay, and then I will just clip it off. There we go. Okay, because then we know how much room we have. All right, I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this piece. And then we're going to just put this right in the middle. Oops, crooked. There we go. Then we're going to glue our stem on our pumpkin. I like the stem behind because I feel like the top of the pumpkin, it goes down indented behind it a little bit, so I'm going to put it behind, sticking up. And then we need dimensionals on our pumpkin and put him right in the middle of the circle. All right, now all we have left to glue is the leaves. So I'm going to take the orange one and go right there, and then the green one kind of tucks under the edge of the tag that's hanging down, and then crushed curry next to that, just like that, and then the granny apple green there. Just make sure it does not glue your top closed, and your crushed curry like that. All right, and that's just basic, and then I'll glue them all on now. Okay. Then for the final touch, I'm going to get some of the 2022 to 2024 in color pearls in Starry Sky. I said this was Gorgeous Grape. It's Starry Sky. I'm very sorry. It's not a Gorgeous Grape circle. It is a Starry Sky circle. Okay, sorry about that. All right, and then I'm going to get the Starry Sky pearls. I'm going to put one right there, one right on the edge of the flag, and then one right up there. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, my email is below, along with the link to my blog for the directions, the link to join my Facebook group, and the link to my shop where you can buy all these products. Alrighty, I hope you have a good day, and I will see you Friday. Bye.